Hello and welcome to another episode of our skin education sessions. Tonight we are talking all about sun care and more specifically how you can care for your skin in the sun. And it is episode number 34, so starting off the year with a bang. We've been going into topics that are a little bit more simple than they were last year, and I've done this for a reason. I really wanted to make all these skin education sessions applicable to your life and applicable to the time of the year that we're in. And I thought, what a better time right now when we're hot and we're going out in the sun and we're getting outdoors. I want to give you some tips on how you can care for your skin. And I have to say, if you're in Adelaide here, it's a little bit colder than it usually would be. Let me know if you're watching from somewhere else, what is your weather like? But I guess this weather is probably really good for the fires right now, so good to see it kind of cool down a little. Anyhow, without further ado, let's just jump into it tonight. So this topic is all about how to care for your skin in the sun. Now let me see if I can straighten this one up. Things are a little bit, that's gonna have to do. So tonight, like I said, talking about how to care for your skin in the sun, and I've really broken this little lecture down into three main components. So pre-sun, while you're actually in the sun, and post-sun. So we want to be realistic here, and I'm not here to say, you know, the sun is the devil, just stay out of it. You know, we really have to find a beautiful balance. I mean, as Australians here, we love the sun, we love to be outside, and I mean, who doesn't? It's so nice, it makes you feel really good, it's good for your health, vitamin D wise, but there are risks. So I have covered these a little bit more in detail in past videos, but I will just quickly touch on it. So we're going to be really realistic and practical today. So what do you need to do before going into the sun? What are the things you need to do to take care of your skin in the sun? Hello, Emily. So what you need to do before going out into the sun is to be making sure you plan your day. Now, this might sound a little bit silly, and of course you're going to plan your day, but you really want to plan the times that you are going to be in the sun, because in case you didn't know, the amount of rays that are being, the strength of the rays, it's to do with the ozone and a few other little things. They are much more stronger, particularly around about 12 to about 3 o'clock. They're very, very strong. So you do want to avoid those times in the sun and really plan your day around those times mid-morning or a little bit later in the day. That's when you're going to have the best chance of not being burnt. The second thing you want to do is you want to make sure you are applying your sunscreen before you get into the sun. This is paramount. And you not only want to apply it to your face, being the main area that we all care about, you really want to make sure you apply it to the backs of your ears, the back of your neck, your hands and your arms. And what you want to make sure you can do as well is actually plan to take your sunscreen with you. And as you do this, you do have to plan a little bit, because I'm going to let you in on a little secret that I've noticed not many of you do. And it's only because I've picked up here and there in conversations, but I've heard a lot of you say you put your sunscreen in your car, and I've seen people down the beach just have their sunscreen sitting on the sand. No worries, that's fine. But what's happening if you let your sunscreen rise to these temperatures, you know, the preservatives in your sunscreen can only do so much, and you really want to give it the best chance at actually doing its work. And I just saw my partner Daniel give me a little like, and I think he knows that he is a little bit guilty. You want to take it out of your car and plan to have it in a place that's, say, in your handbag, for example, or it's near a water cooler. It's really, really important, because as soon as the products are heated up and perhaps the preservatives don't work in that high heat, you could then get bacterial infections, well, not infections, but bacterial overgrowth in there. Potentially the sunscreen actives aren't going to work as well. You just don't know. Rancid ingredients, there's so many different cosmetic ingredients involved, and it's hard for me to say what could happen, but essentially you probably just lose efficacy, so you won't get the full protection that you want. So plan ahead to have it in a really cool, but doesn't need to be freezing, but just have it in a nice place where it's not going to overheat. So that's a big one. You also need to plan in terms of what you're wearing, and say if you are going out in the sun and you're wanting to spend a day outside, you want to plan how you're going to actually retreat from the sun. So you want to plan what you wear, because you want to make sure that you have, I mean, of course you want your towel and your bathers, but you want to make sure that you have clothing that you can actually use as a bit of a covering. So you know, you can use things like sarongs, but unfortunately you can still get a lot of sun rays there. So I've been guilty of this. Sometimes I've been out and I'm wearing a top that's up here, but it still has, you can still get burnt through it even though it's covering. So you want to go for a more of, there's actually clothing out there with a UPF rating, I believe, which is like an SPF in the clothing range, which is really cool. But you want to pick something that you can wear or put over you as protection if you do get burnt for some reason. Also find a hat, a nice big hat that is going to protect your face as well. That's really important. And sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Cover, that's what I was meant to say. So you need to really plan, how are you going to retreat? It's all good and well to go to the beach and it's, yeah, we've got sunscreen, no worries. But we get burnt quicker than you actually sometimes realize. And usually when you've started to realize, you're like, oh, it's a bit, ooh, ouch. Usually I've always experienced it on my thighs. You can feel it on your thighs when they're starting to heat up. But usually at that moment when you're starting to notice it, you're probably already burnt. So you really do want to find cover. So you can buy those really beautiful, not so beautiful, but they're more practical. Those like gazebos, there's all kinds of things. I believe my mother-in-law, she purchased one recently and it is amazing. You just set it up. Then you can kind of still lie outside in the sun, but underneath protection, so you're not getting that excessive burning and DNA damage and all the things you don't want. So that's my tips on planning ahead. And it's really important to plan ahead, because if you don't put those things into place, you're going to find yourself in the sun probably getting burnt. And why don't you want to get burnt? Well, there's a few reasons, but essentially every time you get burnt, you're damaging the skin. Every time you're in the sun, you are damaging your skin. But when you get burnt, it heightens the risk for skin cancers. Now, you can get skin cancers whether you get burnt or not. It's to do with sun exposure and the amount of DNA damage, but you don't really want to put yourself at more risk, because what happens when like a cancer cell is created in the most elementary way. I'm sure someone else could explain it a lot better, but essentially what happens with skin cancer is that it's basically just a cell mutate. So the radiation from the sun causes the cell to mutate, and when the cells are acting really well and healthy, it goes through a process called apoptosis. So the cell mutates, the body recognizes it, well, the cell recognizes it and it goes, uh-oh, I am damaged, we need to spontaneously combust. So essentially it goes through apoptosis, which is cell destruction. It's like, goodbye, kaboom. That's kind of how I imagine it. I'm sure it's a little bit different if you were to look into it a little bit more, but that's how I picture it. So apoptosis happens and then that cell is now dead. Well, it's gone essentially. So the reason why cancer happens is because the apoptosis hasn't happened and a cell is just starting to replicate and it's starting to get out of hand. So the body wasn't able to recognize it. So my point in saying this is that the more pressure you're putting on your body in terms of what it's being exposed to or how much you're going to alter your cells in terms of getting burnt, you know, you're just putting your body under more stress and more reason to have to regulate this process. So there is evidence to say you don't want to get burned. Talk to any dermatologist or doctor and they'll tell you just this, but I thought I'd give you a little bit more back reason to feel a little bit more compelled, because it's kind of that simple. It's a little bit more complex, of course, but if you look at it like that, it's, yeah, you want to avoid getting burnt at all costs. And look, the statistics are there, especially in Australia, in terms of skin cancer. So yeah, just try to avoid getting burnt. But we all love being in the sun. So what are we going to do when we're actually in the sun? So we've planned our day, we've got our gazebo, we've got our clothing, we've got our sunscreen, and we've planned to keep our sunscreen in a good, not too hot area. The next thing we need to make sure is underneath our sunscreen, and I should have said this in the first tip because you can't really do this once you're in the sun. So let me just reverse a little. The last tip is to actually have antioxidants underneath your sunscreen. Now this is paramount. So you want the antioxidants there to fight the free radical damage. And I don't want to go too much into it to go into, again, to the science, but you want to prevent the free radical damage, which is aging you. So sunscreen will help to protect from burns, but it's not going to protect from free radical damage. So what you can easily do, you can have antioxidants like green tea, calendula is one that I've just seen on a sunscreen. There's so many antioxidants out there, vitamin C, the list goes on. So you want to make sure it's in your serum, your moisturizer, your sunscreen, whatever it is. Make sure you've got one because that's going to protect your skin from aging, essentially. So back to what do we do when we've planned our day, we're in the sun. So you want to make sure you're reapplying. Now, of course, this is a no-brainer, but you want to make sure you're applying enough sunscreen. So I know a lot of people just kind of, especially on their face, are a little bit conservative. But when it comes to sunscreen, you need to apply a large amount to actually cover the area well. So apply more than you would every other item in your skincare. Apply more and really make sure you've got the whole surface area covered and reapply. There is a lot of different rules for reapplying. Reapply every 2 hours, reapply sooner if you need. Depending on your unique burn time, because everyone is different genetics, different skin, which means different skin color, and then different age, because the older we are, the quicker we burn. So it really is up to you to decide how often. 2 hours is a good golden rule, but I feel like I go a little bit quicker than 2 hours. I want to, get in there at the 1.5 hour mark, reapply. So you want to make sure you're reapplying. But the next thing you want to do is you want to make sure, if you've already been cooked, that you get out. Because once you're burnt, you're too cooked, you're overcooked, you can't undo that, and it's only going to get worse. You literally have to retreat. There's no way that you can once you're burnt, you're already there. You have to retreat. Otherwise, you're going to just continue the cycle and things are going to get worse. You can't just put sunscreen on over it and go, oh, well, look, be fine now, right? I've got sunscreen on. You've already done the damage, and any more sun exposure is going to make it worse. So just being really cautious of, am I getting burnt? Have I, am I playing sport? How long has it been? How is my body feeling? I can tend to feel when I'm starting to get burnt, or I'm about to get burnt, and you feel a bit of a heat, you almost feel a little bit uncomfortable. And if you kind of tune into your body, you do actually get warning signs, like I might walk to the toilet. You kind of get these little messages to yourself as to you should retreat. So pay attention to that, see if you notice it. And just make sure you retreat when you can. So your best bet is to actually go in and out of the sun and potentially not get burnt at all. Reapply and kind of continue this little cycle of going into the water, coming back, laying down, going into your cover and reapplying. And so the next point in terms of being in the sun that you really need to think about is if you're going into the water, you really want to make sure you have something that's water resistant. This is very important, because if you're at the beach and you're going into the water and you've got your sunscreen on, you're like, yes, I'm all good to go. And then it all washes off in the water. You're kind of stuffed, aren't you? You're going to get burnt because you thought you did the right thing, but unfortunately it's washed off. So just choose wisely when it comes to picking a sunscreen. I have multiple different ones, and I have one that I love to use at the beach because it is water resistant. So just pick carefully and have a water resistant one on hand. It's not hard at all. So just a little tip for you. So that's all you really need to know when you're out in the sun, is just take care. And of course, wear your hat, get the cover if you need it, just don't get burnt. That's your goal. So we've finished in the sun. What do we do now? So I'm going to give you two scenarios. So your first scenario is the perfect one. You've gone out into the sun, you've had a really good day, you're feeling good, you've actually been hydrating your body so you feel good as well, right? That's the ideal day. I know that a lot of us don't drink enough water when we're down at the beach as well. So you've done all this and you haven't got burnt, and now you're going home. What should you do to care for your skin? Well, it's pretty simple. You want to nourish your skin. Again, apply more antioxidant rich skincare. So like I said, vitamin C, green tea, whatever that means for you. It really depends on your skin prescription or what skincare items work for you. Usually most products that I recommend or custom make for my clients have a antioxidant in there. So you just want to nourish your body and re-moisturize, because we tend to get a little bit stripped from being in the sun and being in the water. So we just want to rehydrate, and topically and internally, and lots of antioxidants. So that means internal antioxidants as well. So fruit, salads, lots of veggies, get them into you. But what about the second scenario? You've gone to the beach, you've had a great time, but you were unlucky and you did get burnt. What do you do? Now, we all reach for the aloe vera. We're like, give me a big tube of aloe vera and just like squeeze it all over me, I'll be fine. And look, it does work. It's absolutely fine. But what I want to help you with here is to help you find an aloe vera gel that is a better option, because I've taken it upon myself this summer to have a little look around at all, you know, every time I'm in Woolworths or Coles, I look at all the labels and all the ingredients, and I'm looking there at all these aloe vera gels going, I would not put those ingredients on my skin. I would not use that one either. So essentially, not all aloe vera gels are made equally. Of course, this is just the world of skincare. But when it comes to aloe vera gel, you want to go for something that is pure aloe vera as possible, and not go for the ones that are really nasty cheap and they have alcohol, perfume. Let me just go on a quick rant with perfume and fragrance. You don't know what ingredients are in that. They are sensitizing. We have enough evidence to support the fact that they're damaging to your cells. So why use something that's damaging, potentially irritating and sensitizing to your skin once it's already burnt and already vulnerable? So you don't want perfume, fragrance, or even essential oils in your aloe vera gel. So look for something, and look, there are lots of different types of alcohol. I know I mentioned alcohol just then and saying, oh, it's bad. There's a lot of good alcohols out there, and I know it's hard to tell. Benzyl alcohol is generally fine, and I'm holding my tongue there to make sure that I'm not saying the wrong thing, because it can be hard to remember all the different ingredients. So my professional opinion is to check up on an app like Think Dirty and look up the ingredients and see if the alcohol is a good one or not, because we need alcohol in a lot of products to create the liquid and as a bit of a preservative as well. So basically you want an aloe vera gel that has a majority of aloe vera and then perhaps a couple of little ingredients at the bottom. That's what you want to go for, because that will soothe your skin. Or alternatively, you can come to me and I can make you a bespoke gel. Now, I've just recently done this for my partner and as much as he was really excited about it, he actually requested, he's like, I need something. I'm like, well, you're not getting those horrible ones with all the bad ingredients. Let me make you one. So what I've done, I've combined a mix of a gel, so a really soothing, calming gel. I've added a whole heap of aloe vera in there, and the other ingredients I've included is vitamin E for skin repair and skin functioning. I've also added in a bit of linseed oil because it helps with erythematic skin, and it's also full of good omegas. And what was the other one? I put an oil in there, a jojoba oil, that's right. So I put a bit of jojoba oil in there. So this beautiful little blend is now very, very suitable for a skin that is damaged and needs a bit of loving after the sun. So you can always come to me and I can make you something like that. Of course, it'll be a little bit more expensive than what you would find in the aloe vera gels at the stores, but the ingredients are very superior, and not just aloe vera, you know, it's got a plethora of other skin repairing ingredients in there. So that's the most important thing. Is to find something that's good for your skin, really. So once you've applied your aloe vera gel, you know, you want to make sure you keep your body cool. You actually want to make sure you're hydrating. That is so important, because when you're burnt, you're essentially you're heating up, so you're losing water. Your skin barrier has been disrupted. Your skin is under stress. It needs more water. So hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Again, all of the antioxidants, and just try and be somewhere cool. But when it comes to your skin, you just want to treat it with so much care and love. I know it's hard not to pick and pull the little dry bits on your skin when it starts to peel, but every time you do that, you're pulling away cells that weren't ready to shed off. The reason why your skin is shedding them off is because they're damaged, they need to go. So the skin starts to shed, and what's underneath that, it's still not ready. The skin's not ready for those cells to come up. So they're vulnerable and they're a little bit weak. And if you're sitting there peeling them off, you're causing more irritation. So continue using your gel to moisturize, and use something that's hypoallergenic with no fragrances as a moisturizer as well in between. But if you were to purchase the one that I make, which is a bespoke aloe vera after sun gel, my lucky partner, he got one. And I've actually been using it as a moisturizer here and there at night time, and I'm really enjoying it as a bit of a change. But essentially you want to use something that's hypoallergenic. But that's really it, guys. And caring for your skin in the sun doesn't have to be this big torturous event. You just need to plan ahead. You need to do the right thing when you're in the sun to prevent getting burnt, and then afterwards just care and love for your skin. So I hope this has been enjoyable for you. I hope it has been informative, and look, just got to get out there and enjoy yourself. The sun is amazing and I love being out there. And I know people tease me all the time, everyone in my family, they're like, you know, she doesn't like the sun. You know, you wear too much sunscreen, all of this. But look, I'm doing it for my health. Of course I'm doing it for my skin. I don't want to prematurely age, but I do it because I don't want to get a skin cancer. I'm doing everything possible, and I'm really just following the guidelines. So don't let people make you feel like you're going above and beyond and being a bit of a psycho when it comes to protecting your skin in the sun. I'm sure they just say it to me as a bit of a joke, but it kind of perpetuates the idea that taking care of your skin in the sun is like an abnormal thing. So just be really stern and, you know, just stick by your guns and go, look, no, that's fine. I'm just gonna go lay over there in the umbrella for a little bit. You know yourself better. You know, if they all get burnt and you're the only one that doesn't get burnt, then you should be really proud of yourself. And then if that happens, you can sit back and watch them all suffer and say, I told you so. Oh goodness, you don't have to say that. You want to be nice and caring and say, look, I bought you a sunscreen, you can use this next time. Oh goodness, it depends on your personality, let's be honest. So thank you so much for being here. If you watch live, I really appreciate it. I do these every single Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. And if you're watching the replay over on YouTube, thank you for watching. Leave a comment below, ask your questions, and expect to see more videos upcoming throughout the rest of the year. I'm super excited about the curriculum, let's call it a curriculum, the content schedule that I've created for the year. I'm super excited, and you can expect more skin education. So that's it from me. I'll see you all soon, and feel welcome to message me on Facebook here and come and meet me, and I can help you with your skin. I absolutely love what I do, and it is a pleasure to meet new people. Anyways, I'll see you next week. Bye.